I am the affair child. What I also like to call myself is the bester child. So when I was born, my dad was 50. My mom was, we're not really sure, but probably 28 or 30, right around in there. So at the same time that my mom was pregnant with me, my brother's wife was pregnant with my niece. Now, my brother is only my half brother from my dad. My mom was the main mistress. So, my dad had his wife. My mom was the head mistress. Then, oh, by the way, my mom also acted like a fucking wife. Then, all the other affairs and stuff that my dad had. So when I was born, my dad dropped my mom off at the hospital. My mom had me. He ended up going back home to his wife. And oh my! By the way, me and my niece are only about 6.5 months apart. So my mom had me. My mom, my dad, knowing that he cheated, obviously he was like, I don't know if this is really my kid. Is it really my kid? Because my mom loved to play that game she was pregnant with me. Oh, this is not your baby. Whenever she was mad, this could be somebody else. So my dad always had like doubts. So after I was born, he ended up coming to see me, held me, and all that stuff. I also have a picture someplace of the first time he held me. Now, right away he asked for a paternity. He ended up having apparently 3 different ones, court order. He believed the first one, but he wasn't sure, so he had another one done. So the first one was done to the court, and the other two were pretty much him independently, because he just wanted to make, like, I guess, triples check. Triple sure. Also, I had the Hernandez nose, nariz de chirabola, because when I was born, I had a big fat nose, and the Hernandez family, they have big fat noses. Also, hairy arms, but you grow out of that later. My arms were really hairy as a kid. Oh my god, I was so embarrassed. Anyways, so my mom, when I was probably, I think like around 6 months old, my mom and my dad had a fight. So my dad, he was at work somewhere. My mom and him, who knows what they were arguing about. Hangs up with him, drives me to his house. His wife was home. She stays at home and stuff. Apparently, she left me at the doorstep. Did like a ring down ditch type of situation with the baby. Dropped me off there. She picked me up, took care of me, called apparently my dad, come home, da 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 da. So that is when he came home. They had a discussion. She apparently, I don't know exactly when she knew, but by the time I was born, she knew. So yeah. So at this point, she already knew who I was, everything, who the baby mama was, and all that stuff. I guess they had, anyways, restraining orders and stuff. It is okay. Broken windows. Okay, so I'm at her house. A baby, my dad and her were talking and stuff. My dad asked her, can we raise the baby? And I don't blame her. I don't blame her. She's like, hell no. Do something with this. Take care of it. And apparently she had nothing else to do with it. So somehow, I forgot how, I ended up going back home. I don't know if my mom picked me up or my dad dropped me off, but I ended up going back home. So later on, as I'm growing up, his wife would always write the child support checks. I don't know if she knew or not, but also every Friday my dad would pick me up and we would go grocery shopping. We would go pay bills. He paid way more. Like, he would pay the child support. Pretty much the child support was my mom's money that she just did whatever. My dad paid for everything else, like my dance classes, my violin, like everything. Like, I remember going with him to those places, and at the time I didn't know, but I remember, he was like, oh, we're gonna go pay bills, da, 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 or just making little jokes like, come on, let's go pay for your this or your that, da, 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 da. So I took a lot of classes, but only for like a really short amount of time. Like, really. Yeah, anyways, I think my mom probably canceled it and somehow got the money. I don't know, that's just what I'm thinking in my head. I could be completely wrong. Anyways, so yeah, the entire time my mom would constantly harass his wife, like, he had a baby with me, I gave him a girl, something you could never do, da 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 da. And just because my dad always wanted like a little girl, like a little princess. So I think she felt some type of way about it, because my mom would always, put that in her face and stuff, always send her pictures of me and my dad and stuff. She would also go to his house I remember whenever he wasn't there, my mom would be there because my dad traveled so for work, so he'd be gone days or weeks or even a few months at a time. And as things got progressed with my mom, like Looney Tooney, he took longer trips only so he could take me. He could use that as an excuse to, oh, I'm gonna be away from his wife. I'm gonna be over here, and that's when I would go with him, but not always voluntarily. And what I mean by that is that my mom would go ahead and have a fight with my dad whenever, oh, fight all the time, but she would somehow, okay, fight with my dad no matter day, time, or day. I remember many times, come on, get up. We would drive wherever he was because it was always usually within like 4 or 5 hours, sometimes 6 hour drive from where we were. So it wasn't like super far, but it was far. So we would go drive and stuff, and then she would just leave me wherever he was, knock on the door. She loved doing that ding dong ditch with the kid. Did that, and she would tell me, okay, no, just stay there. There was one time we were in this was witchcraft in California. I think that's how you pronounce it. We ended up driving from San Diego to witchcraft, something like that, California, and it was hot. She dropped me off early in the morning. My dad wasn't there. Dropped me off at the door. She left. Hours, I don't even know. I was there for a long time. Finally, somebody saw me, drove around, and it was so at this time, this was when my dad was there for probably close to 2 years, stationed there. So after that, he ended up getting into like a condo. So these were like a lot of duplex condos in the area. So one of the office people just happened to drive around, saw me. It was like, who are you, this and that. And I told him, oh, this is my dad, Felipe, and oh, my mom left me here and whatever. So he called my dad, came back, I don't know how long, but I was there for a while. Like, my mom just never cared. There's been so many times, like, she ended up taking me in the middle of the night from where we were to, I'm not sure where, I forget, but it was somewhere where it was snowing, and it was the first time I saw snow. It wasn't a lot. Now that I live in Alaska, I guess it's called a dusting, so it was just a dusting, but for me, it was like, oh, there is snow. So yeah, that's just a little bit of my childhood and stuff. There's so much more. So much more. So let me know in the comments if you want to hear some ridiculous stories that you can't make this up. Like, you can't. I had to hide. When I was going to school, elementary school, La Jolla Elementary, yeah, there was many times where I was super, super late, and then I got blamed, like, wait, what? And as a kid, I couldn't stand up for myself, so I was always embarrassed. And then I used to hide my lunches because all my mom fed me was donuts and milk, but then she would complain that I ate donuts and milk, and once she woke me up the crap out of me because she thought I had a tattoo. I was in elementary school, but she knew that I had a tattoo. I remember by the hair and bitten me and all that stuff and taking me to the shower, stripping me. So many. So let me know.